food has become really expensive these days. I don't just mean in the grocery store, but obviously if you do DoorDash or anything like that, the prices are sort of out of control. So I thought today we'd make a really cheap bean burrito that anybody can make, and essentially you're making bulk, so you're making enough to last you for a very long time. Up next. So like I said, I'm just making a very simple sort of bean burrito, bean and cheese burrito. Typically I would put rice in it as well, but I'm gonna keep it as cheap as I possibly can. You're essentially making at least a dozen, probably more, depending on the size of the tortilla that you buy, bean burritos. And you're making all of them for way less than $10. If you think about it, you know, if you went on DoorDash or something right now and you just wanted to get a couple bean burritos, I'm gonna guess that that would cost more than $10. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure about that. So what I typically do is I make a lot of them at once. It's a lot simpler to make a lot of them at once than try and make like one or something. I just make them and then I simply wrap them up. I put them in bags and I freeze them. And they're good for a very, very long time. They're very simple to take out, to thaw, to make. So I thought we might as well go through that and make that today. So obviously the first thing you're going to need are the beans, right? And I'm more used to the Mexican version, so I'm just gonna stick with the two that's primarily used, which are either pinto beans or black beans. That's up to you. I sort of switch between the two of them. There's a little bit of difference with the flavor, but not a whole lot. Now your two options for the beans are obviously dried. They come in a bag like this typically, or in a can that are already prepared. Now you might be saying, why would I buy the bags of dried beans that I have to prepare when I can just buy a can that's already good to go? I can literally make it in no time. That's because one bag of dried beans is about 4 cans of prepared beans. So you're basically getting 4 times the value, because if you buy just the store brand generic, which you should if that's what you're trying to do to make this all as cheaply as you possibly can, a can of prepared pinto beans is about $1, as opposed to a pound bag of the dried pinto beans, which are also about $1, maybe like $1.10 or so. And I would also look, like when I was at my local grocery store, I went and they had dozens of bags of these Goya, which Goya is like the go-to Mexican brand for everything. But they had dozens of these bags on discount for 87 cents, which is even less than the store brand one. So I bought many of them because, hey, you stick them in your pantry and they're good for basically the rest of your life, essentially. So the first step is the beans. You have to prepare your dried beans. And I would, again, go with the dried beans, not the canned beans. So what you're going to do is you're going to put these in a bowl way larger than you think. So I have this bowl right here, and if you look at simply how big these are, about how much this would fill, it's not very much. But as you can see, after they've been soaking, it's essentially most of the bowl full. So you're going to take your beans, put them in actually first a strainer, rinse them off. There's always the chance that there will be little stones or something in with your beans because they're harvested, so you know sometimes those sorts of things get mixed up in there. So just sort of look through it, give it a quick wash, and then you're going to put them in a bowl like this. You're going to fill the bowl as high as you possibly can with water. I typically cover it so nothing will get in there like bugs or something. You obviously don't want that. So you're going to just cover that and let it sit for at least 12 hours. Basically, I usually do it the night before, and then the next day, midday, is when I actually make all of this. So even a little more than 12 hours is perfectly fine. If you let them go way too long, like if you forget about it and it's been like a day or two, they can actually start to ferment, which will, well, you can still use them, by the way. Their flavor will just change a little bit, and for some specific dishes, actually, you do want sort of like semi-fermented beans, so they'll still be okay. So once you've washed the beans, you'll need all the rest of your ingredients, obviously, as well. For this, we're just gonna go with a very sort of simple bean recipe. I've got 1 full onion, I've already peeled it, and 2 cloves of garlic, which I've also peeled as well. If you have the like the jarred or canned garlic, you can use that too. It's perfectly fine. Just do 2, I would say like 2 teaspoons would be about 2 of these, more or less. So you can do that a little more if you want. That's perfectly fine too. Again, we're not making anything super specific. You can be a little loosey-goosey with the quantities, and you'll be just fine. Now, the real secret ingredient for beans like this are your chicken bouillon. If you go in the grocery store, you can typically find it. That's what I use. It's half in Spanish. That's how you know it's authentic. And they come in these little cubes right here. What I like to do is I like to actually put them in hot water before I mix it in with the beans, just to make sure they're fully broken down and I don't have to worry about them like being in clumps or something in with the actual beans if somehow it didn't fully incorporate, because you do not want to take a bite of just raw bouillon. That will not be tasty whatsoever. So I'm going to let those sit for a minute, and then I'm going to sort of mix them up and get it fully incorporated. Outside of that, you're going to want some chili powder. Now, where I am, I can literally just buy it in bags like this. It's super cheap. It's like a dollar something to me. If you can't find it like this or whatnot, you can just go to your grocery store and buy chili powder. You can find it with all the rest of your spices. Usually, just buy the store brand. You'll be fine. It's quite cheap. And next, for the rest of our spices, we are going to do about 1 teaspoon of salt, a half teaspoon of cumin, and about 2 teaspoons of black pepper. That might not seem like a lot of salt. Now, the chicken bouillon is going to have a lot of salt already in it. But here's the thing with cooking, you can always add more salt. You can't take salt out. So start low, work your way up. As the beans are finishing, I would sort of taste the broth itself, see what it tastes like, if it's salty enough for you. If it's not salty enough, you can always add more salt until you get to that point that you want to get to. And finally, the cheese. You can use really whatever you want. If you just want to use a cheddar, if you want to go by like the premix, like in the bag, like the Mexican mix, you can buy that too. Or if you want to get something like a queso fresco, that's perfectly fine. It's really sort of a personal preference, but that won't come in until we get to the very end stage. Now you might be saying, but there's no meat in this, and that's true. So if you're a vegetarian, I guess this is good for you. Oh, and I didn't say, for your chili powder, I would do it to taste. I typically do 1 to 2 tablespoons of it, which seems like a lot, and it is a fair amount, but does give it a bit of heat, and I like that. So, but you know, that's up to you. You can just put it in as you go, much like the salt. You can always add more. You can't really take it away. So start small, start low, work your way up to where you want it, and then stop. Now, I wouldn't add any lime to it. Like when you're cooking the beans themselves, it will sort of affect their cooking time. So don't do that. When you're done with the beans, when they're fully done, then you can add lime if you really want to. Also, if you have any cilantro, especially fresh cilantro, I would add it once the beans are done as well. If you have dried cilantro, maybe a little before they're done so that they can rehydrate a little bit. Now again, I'm making this in a method that anyone can do. There's no special anything about it. There's really not any special tools. The only thing you do need is something to sort of mash the beans in the pot. So whatever you've got to make that work, go ahead. Okay, now let's add beans to our pot. I'm gonna add the bouillon. And then I'm going to simply add enough water to cover the beans and then go, I would say, go a good 6 inches above the beans, because as you cook it, the water will evaporate as well. So you might actually have to add a little more water, but you don't want to go way too much, because once we get to the point where we're going to actually mash it, you don't want it to be like super liquidy and runny. You want it to be fairly thick for your burritos. At this point, you can add in all of your onion and garlic. Again, I'm just making this sort of very rough, I guess what you might almost call like a country style, because, hey, it'll still be perfectly delicious. I'm even gonna put in all my spices right now, even before I completely fill it up with the water. So my salt, pepper, and my cumin, I'm just gonna take that and put that in. And my personal preference, I'm going to add two tablespoons of chili powder. All right, now like I said, we're just gonna put water in. I'm gonna go about 6 inches above where everything is right now. Give it some good stirs over the heat. You wanna have it on sort of a medium heat. You don't want it super high. This will take about 45 minutes until the beans are done. You can check them throughout. Just get a spoon or something, get a bean out, try it, see what it's like. You'll know when it's relatively soft. You don't want any kind of real bite to it. All right, so with that, I'm gonna add the water, put it on the boil, and be back with you real soon. And there are our beans. Mine took a little more time than 45 minutes to cook, so as they cook, just keep trying the beans until they're soft. You don't want them like mush, but soft, and they're good to go then. A few things I didn't mention before. If you have any tomato paste, you can put a nice squirt of that in there. That's always good. And the one thing I do put in, and if you don't have it, it's not like the end of the world or something, but I put a nice slice of lard in my beans. Now, of course, lard is something which might seem a little scary, a little weird. If you've ever seen it in the store, like what exactly is that? If you don't have any, it's fine. Your beans will be okay without it. But if you do have some, or if you want to get some, do it and just take a nice, like a 1-inch slice or so, break it in two, throw it in there when the beans first start cooking, mix it up. That'll help a lot with the beans. So now I'm just going to take a potato masher and I'm just going to give these sort of a little bit of a mashing. Now, like I said, what you're really trying to do is you're trying to break up some of the beans. The goal is not to have them all broken up like they're refried beans or something. That's not the goal. You just want some of them sort of mashed up a bit, and then this whole mixture to thicken up quite nicely so that you'll actually be able to use it. So you kind of want to get to this state where you still see a fair amount of beans, but also a lot have been mashed. It's thickened up significantly, as you can see. We're going to let this sit, and then we'll finish it up. Okay, so we'll start with our cheese. Put some cheese in here. You want to leave some space on the side, so we're going to fold it over and then wrap it up. So we're going to do the sides in, and then from the front to the back, we're just going to flip it. Depending on how soft your sort of mixture is, you have to be kind of careful. And you just want to give it a little push down so it's nice and tight. And that's really it. You have your burritos. Now the bigger, obviously, your tortilla is, the more you can fit in there. I have relatively small tortillas. It's just usually what I make. And then when you're completely done, I just put them in like a Ziploc bag. Don't stack them too tight or sort of on top of each other, or they might be hard to get out once they freeze. But I just sort of put them in the bag sort of loosely enough and then seal it and put it in the freezer. And hey, you just pull one out, there's a meal. Well, I just want to thank you for joining me today, making something a little bit different. But I figure with the price of food and everything that people should learn how to make something which is cheap and easy and also really tasty. So if you like the video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me maybe make this full time one day. See you next time.